How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. As we always do when we start these Mentor Mondays, we want to connect with you. So do me a huge favor. You see this right here? It will not offend me in the least if you promote yourself in the comments. So please post where you are joining us from, who your ideal client is, what niche that you serve. If you have links to your social media or your website or something like that, feel free to post it in there. If you happen to get a client because you are watching this video, more power to you. That would be amazing. Now, we have a forward mission statement at Life Coach Training Institute. It's proficient coaches, thriving practices. Everything that we do is under the end of you being a better coach, that you do great work with your clients and you help them get breakthroughs and they achieve their goals, all of those other things. But the other side is really, really important for you personally, and that is thriving practices. We want to give you the tools. We want to give you the helps, the know-hows, take out all of the guesswork that keeps you from getting clients and being really proficient at actually getting clients. We want to be able to help you do that. So again, jump inside here. Also do me another huge favor. Like and share this post. It tells Facebook and YouTube that we're doing a good job. Also, it helps us get this in front of more up and coming coaches. Listen, if I don't do what I say that we're going to do, you can always take your like back later. So preemptively, just out of faith right now, just hit like. And I'm going to do my best to do exactly what I say that we're going to do. And then if we don't, you can always take that like back right before you turn it off. Like you can just go there and you can unlike it and then you can just leave, but I really have a lot of faith that we are going to help you. So I'll wait like 5 seconds for you to jump inside the chat and like that. Listen, it'll only take you like 5 seconds. 1, 2. See how easy that was? It was really easy to do that. And then again, you can take it back if I don't do what I say what we're going to do. So tonight, now I normally interact with everybody inside of the chat. I want you to keep that chat lively. And also, if you've recently graduated at Life Coach Training Institute, throw in there grad so that we can congratulate you and we can celebrate you and those kinds of things. Tonight, we have moved Life Coach Training Institute to the state of Florida. And so I am presently working somewhere in our studio, probably full of sweat and gross and everything else. And so all of that work is being done right now. But what I wanted to do is preemptively record this so that I wasn't letting you guys down on a Monday. I wanted you guys to know that I'm thinking about you and I'm actually sweating right now as we are putting the new studio together. It's not going to look a whole lot different than this. Actually, it's pretty much going to look the same, but it's taking us a lot of work to move everything and everything else. So I'll be back live, tomorrow night actually with our students in the Life Coach certification course because we do Tuesday night live coach training. So, I got a lot of work to do before we go live tomorrow. So we're starting a new series. Oh, I'm so excited about this new series, and it's called Coaching Self-Sabotage. And so, since this is a brand new series, I've never covered this material before. What I want you to do is, just like in all of our series, we create these beautiful slides. See, we just got new slides, this purple, this grape colored slides and everything else, and gray. It's so beautiful. Text the keyword slides right now to 833-258-7547. What that's going to allow you to do is get the slides that I show you tonight. And it's not only going to give you the slides, but also the tools. So all the material that we're covering, but also what I do when I train on these Mondays, these freebies, I also give you coaching tools so that you can help your clients with this, because that's what the end game is that we want to help you do a better job with your clients. And here's the reality. Is that even in coach training school, there is no way that we could cover all of the little nuanced kinds of things that are going to come up. And so what I like to do on these Mondays is to give you a lot of freebies on specialty topics that will really help you beyond what you're learning right now in our training, either the Life Coach certification course, or if you did One Day Accelerator this past weekend. Hi to everybody who just went and did that. What we want to do is we want to continue to pour into you so that you have answers and you know how to deal with these important topics. Now, this particular series is on self-sabotage, and it's an entire series on self-sabotage. And the reason why is I think a lot of people think that all self-sabotage is the same. It's all equal, but it's really not. And so what I'm going to do is each week as we are tackling the subject, really what we want to understand is that people do self-sabotage for a lot of different reasons. Now, there's probably more reasons than we could possibly put into a series, but I'm at least going to spend the next 6 weeks in this series going after some of the big ones that we would expect to coach people through. And where we're starting tonight is actually this issue of the fear of success, which is one of the big reasons why people have self-sabotage tendencies. Because what you might not know, the hidden driver, particularly for this reason that people self-sabotage, is very different than some of the others, because I think a lot of people think that self-sabotage always means that someone doesn't want to succeed. But I'm here to tell you that's almost never the case. Really, what they don't want is that they don't want the things that having success could possibly cause to change in their life. Because once you have success in your life, you have to show up differently. One of the things that I teach our coaches in the Life Coach Certification course and also in Advanced Skills Training is that this version of your person, of you in the future, like I'll just imagine each one of you, when you become a successful coach and when you start a business and all those things, this version of you over here that looks like fulfillment, it looks like achieving your goal, it looks like all those things, that's a different person than who you are right now. Who you are right now is great. But here's the thing is that the habits in your life right now that got you here won't get you to there. The way that you think right now, your thinking has brought you to this point, but your thinking won't allow you to level up and to continue to accelerate and have a momentum in your life and achieve the same goals. Otherwise, you would already have those things. So what it requires is for you to think differently, have different habits, and have different actions in your life. Now, people know this as they're going towards something, because one of the great fears that I get over here is that I'm going to have to continue to sustain what that is. That means that once I get here, I have essentially climbed the ladder. I've accelerated. I've gotten to a new place. And when I get to a new place, I have to maintain and I have to sustain some things that I didn't have to think about over here. See, the bar gets raised once you get to that other place. There are new expectations. People are expecting new and different kinds of things. You know what? When you win, I'm right now kind of watching what's happening with college football. That's one of the sports that I enjoy watching is college football. And one of the things that I see in college football is that when someone wins, if it's a winning coach, it's a coach who understands how to win and to win consistently. As soon as you get through winning, you have to immediately be recruiting. Like basically right there in that moment, you can't really rest on your laurels. You're already working for the next season. And so there have been some coaches, and I'm not going to name any of them, but one of them, I'll give you a hint. My college football team is Louisiana State University. And we won. We had one of the best teams of all time. The next year, we were really bad because there was a lot of loss that happened. There was attrition because there was a lot of players that went to the NFL. And then there was a lot of coaches who got coaching jobs elsewhere where they were making more money and everything else. And the problem is that there wasn't a plan ahead of time to prepare for all of the loss. There was such a focus right there. And so what happens is that everybody's kind of expecting you to be at that level. And when there's not a preparation, when the thought process, when the actions, when the habits aren't what got you there, then what ends up happening is, like in that case, LSU ends up firing a really, really good coach for that reason. And see, people think about these things that it's like, hey, when the bar gets raised and people see what I'm capable of doing, now the expectation is that I'm going to live at this level. I'm going to keep doing these kinds of things over and over again. And that creates a certain amount of fear and stress. Obviously, that brings along its own new pressure and new visibility. Because sometimes when you're hiding back, when you're in the crowd, when you're pretty low on the totem pole, and I had one of those jobs for a while. Like, I had the job that was always going to be there. And so what happened is that I wasn't going to ever lose my job in my previous career, but I also wasn't. And so if anything fell apart, it really wasn't going to be my fault. It was going to be somebody up here, or it's going to be somebody. But like my job was really, really safe and everything else. Matter of fact, the lack of visibility actually kept me really safe. But when you start succeeding and when you take a step forward as an entrepreneur, as a coach, as a leader, anything that you're doing new, now there's new eyes that are on you. And so people know this. And so this is what it begins to stir, this sort of fear and anxiety in them. It's new responsibility. There's new expectations that are happening in your life. And so what happens is that the brain is protecting them from change. So the way that your brain works, there is a mechanism in you, and what it knows is what feels safe and secure. And that's really where your brain's always going to keep you. It's going to keep you in the familiar, because if you stay in the familiar, you know what to expect. You know that, you won't get killed. You won't get hurt. You won't come to loss. You won't be embarrassed. You won't have a traumatic event. You won't have pain. And so what the programming in your brain does really hard is to keep you doing the same things, because we know that this is safe. And when we do something that is new, then what ends up happening is that the brain really doesn't like that. And when I say the brain, we're talking about the program. We're not talking about your conscious mind, because the conscious mind wants something new, but the subconscious doesn't. Subconscious says, we might get killed over there. People aren't going to like you. You step up into that position, people aren't going to like you. They are going to reject you. They might abandon you. The pressure is going to be this high, and everybody might quit on you. You won't be able to sustain it. There's all of these fear mechanisms that start kicking in. And fear kicks in to say, let's go back to a safe place. And let's keep doing that thing, even though it's not going to fulfill your life, but at least you know that you're going to live another day. And so what happens is that when that program kicks in, what it does is it effectively pulls the brake the moment that your client starts gaining momentum. And that's what's taking place behind the scenes. I would say for most people, at least initially, they don't even realize consciously how they're acting out, but it starts to show up. So where do you start seeing self-sabotage begin? If you're a coach, where do you start looking for it? Where do you start to know and recognize? Well, here's what I'll tell you, is that your clients are not going to exhibit sabotage at the very beginning. In the very beginning, they are working and they're going at it, but see, they begin to sabotage when things actually start working. Now, that doesn't seem to make sense. A lot of us probably think people quit when things aren't working. But what's interesting is that when they start to see that things are working and they're starting to create a momentum, this is when the self-sabotage tendency begins to kick in. They finally show up consistently. And then you start to notice your client flaking out. You see your client commit initially, again, because it doesn't look like this. This pattern is not showing up in the beginning, but then all of a sudden they disappear. Or they make progress, and then something happens where drama, chaos, or distraction begins to ensue. Now, I know that in this language here, I say they essentially what I'm alluding to is something in them stirs up. It's not because here's the pattern that I see. The pattern that you will see is that people who have this working in them, it's inevitable that drama, chaos, and distraction are going to kick in. But it will sound like, it just something happened. And this is one of the things that I notice in patterns of people. If they have chaos operating in their life, if they have this thing underneath, then chaos will eventually overtake them. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time for some kind of a drama or distraction to kind of kick in. And it's actually their own doing. It's not an outside force. They will make you think at times and might even convince you that it is an external force that is creating chaos and drama and distraction. But don't be distracted by those things, because really what it is, don't be convinced of what they're telling you, because what is actually happening is an internal work, and it will happen consistently. So it's not because they can't handle failure, but it's because they don't actually know how to handle success. And progress is threatening everything that they know, which is their normal. So what they do is that program kicks in, breaks the rhythm before their life has to start giving up real comfort. So how do you coach this? Well, let's understand the cost of this pattern. First, they are going to keep restarting instead of building momentum. They burn bridges because they're so inconsistent. And some of the bridges that they're actually burning are with other people, relationships, people who are counting on them, and all those other things. But here's the hidden thing that's happening is that every time they do this, they're actually losing confidence every time the pattern repeats. They stay stuck in almost instead of ever arriving. And then they'll ultimately create their own narrative. They will live all of a sudden with this lens of, I'm just the kind of person who can't follow through. I want you to know, if you hear someone say that they struggle, because you will hear this, start listening over the next week. If anybody has this lens that they cannot follow through, it's actually because self-sabotage is working. It's working its evil work deep in their hearts. It's a program that's running, and that's actually the culprit. There's nothing in someone that keeps them from following through, because everybody has enough smarts, they have enough intellect, they have enough skills, they have enough wisdom, they know how to be a resource to themselves. There's not a deficit there. So when someone says, I'm the kind of person, really what they're doing is that they're creating that as an identity. And this is just something that is maybe a fault of their character, and it's something that they can't seem to get away from and they can't do anything about. So don't fall for that, because that's an easy lens to keep you from taking responsibility. So here's how coaches can interrupt the pattern. Number one, help them see the pattern, not just a mistake. And here's a great question that you can ask. When else in your life has this happened right before progress? Because here's what I can tell you is that anybody, you can pretty much go to about anyone for the most part that is set a goal and then they shut down at a certain point. They didn't follow through. It's actually pretty easy to help people think about what are the things that you started with a lot of passion, with a lot of earnest, with a lot of gusto, and what was the thing that actually stopped you. See, you'll find a lot of people who have actually stopped what they started, and it's usually happened many times over. And so when we ask this question, what that's allowing them to do is to stop them from treating this like a random kind of situation. It's actually a pattern. Two is name what progress is actually threatening. And so Ask, if this actually worked, what would have to change? See, what if we talk about this, what we're saying is that if you are living here now, if this goal was achieved, if this new thing, this new thing that you wanted in your life, you're living into this, they, whether they are consciously thinking about this or not, they know that that person has to show up differently. So there's something that they're actually protecting. There's something that is kicking in to shut things down. And so this is going to surface what that fear is actually protecting. Number three, normalize discomfort. What part of the next level feels unfamiliar or risky? Listen, there is no shame in the fact that I know over there that's going to be, at least for a little while, a harder life. Right now is a comfort zone. But every one of us that have achieved a goal, whether that was graduating high school, getting a college degree, getting a promotion, becoming a mom, becoming a dad, getting married, anything that you went after in your life that you have right now, it was scary and it required something of you that you didn't think that you had. And you know what happened though? Is that what this used to be is what is right here, right now. You get a lot of elbow room. You're really comfortable in it. You're not tense anymore. I remember the first time that I got my driver's license, and I was driving around town and some of my friends saw me and they were making such fun of me because the way I was driving, they said, you're driving around like a 90-year-old lady. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, for one, I'm driving my parents' cars, which everybody in the 80s had really big cars, but my parents didn't have the latest version of any car. We had kind of like whatever was being made 10 years before or something like that. And so for whatever reason, not only did I have my seat pulled up, but I was literally up on the steering wheel like this, so that everybody who's driving by, all my friends are seeing me like big time up on the steering wheel. Because when you are learning and you don't have control of this thing yet, then you're looking around and you think that you've got to keep your eyes peeled. You've got to think about everything that you're doing, reminding yourself to turn on the signal, all of that other stuff that you've got to do. You accidentally hit the brake too hard, you throw people forward. There's all of these embarrassing things because what happens is that you don't know what you're doing, and so you're all tight and tense. And then after a while, it goes away. Now you can mess with the radio. Now you can listen to music. You can have a conversation. You can enjoy the drive. You can look at some of the sights and say, man, what a beautiful day. But there was a day when that was really uncomfortable. But see, what happens is that what used to be a goal, what used to be really hard, now you got all this elbow room. And what that should give you a sign is that it's time to grow again. Listen, you've done the hard things before. You can do it again. And so we never want to shame people for feeling uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. That's a great sign that someone is growing. And so we want to normalize that feeling. We want them to take responsibility, but there should be no shame when it comes to discomfort. And then you want to shrink progress into tolerable steps. Here's a great question you can ask. What's the next move that feels challenging but not overwhelming? Because what do we want them to do? We want them to keep momentum without triggering shutdown. As a coach, I want you to remember a few things. Number one, self-sabotage is not stupidity. It's actually self-protection that's done really badly. And that's what's taken place. Clients don't destroy progress because they don't want better. So don't believe that narrative or that assumption or that judgment that you might have. Clients actually do want better. They destroy progress because they don't know how to live in that new realm yet. They don't know how to make that new version of themselves their new address and their new default. So when a coach helps a client feel safe with forward movement, they stop killing the very thing that they've been praying for. For those of you who have not gotten trained and certified yet, look inside the description of this video right now. You're 90 seconds away from enrolling in our self-paced life coach certification course. We went online, pioneered an online education all the way back in 2014. And we've served about 50,000 coaches since then. And our life coach certification course has always been our flagship program, because what we wanted to do is to create a program that did not bankrupt you, and it gave you everything that you needed to succeed and be successful, all the tools and everything else, while also allowing you to set your own schedule. Our curriculum is based on these 7 core modules that are available self-paced, but we also have them accessible on our Tuesday nights, when I go through each one of these modules week by week with a live Q&A. So we start at Foundations of Coaching. That's actually happening tomorrow night. We roll everything back to session 1. And I'm going to help you understand what coaching is and how it's different than every other kind of helping role. Then the following module is the anatomy of a dynamic coaching session. We look at what an actual coaching session looks like, and then I help you understand the nuts and bolts behind a coaching session. We spend 2 sessions on how to listen on a transformational level, and then we talk about how to ask powerful questions, as well as how to help your clients get extraordinary results. We talk about goal setting and accountability, and then we finish everything up with what I would say this one session is worth thousands of dollars by itself, because I show you the first steps of building a 6-figure coaching practice. Every 3 or 4 weeks, we have live coaching practice. So instead of having a lecture, we come in, we have a coach and client practice, and then we give you feedback. Every week also has live Q&A so that you can get your questions answered. We're not just trying to be an online school. We have support available for you, and you can actually connect with me every Tuesday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. That's 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern time. That's 30 hours of training that you have available inside this course. That includes your live calls. That includes Q&As and role playing. It allows you to connect with other coaches who are part of the program. We also give you all your onboarding documents. So we save you hundreds of hours and at least $100 in development, because you're going to need coaching agreements and all of your onboarding information to onboard clients. We make it fully editable and brandable so that you're ready to take clients immediately. You're going to get a coaching tool starter pack. You're going to get a free listing on our top Google ranked search life coach directory, which is called lifecoachmatch.com. And of course, you're going to get a certificate. And we also host your credential online so that you can share it to the world. It's a $3,500 value that enables you to come into mastery, earn credibility. We are a fully internationally accredited program. You'll live into your purpose. You'll step into freedom. But the best part is probably that you're not going to do it with crippling debt, like so many other coaches are, who are spending thousands of dollars paying a sales team, because it doesn't go to the coach trainers. Most of your tuition, when you see these programs that cost thousands of dollars, half of it's going to the sales team. We are sales commission free. That's why you're only going to pay $195. We make this a no-brainer price. All of you can afford that. We have a payment plan if you can't come out with $195 as a one-time fee. That link is inside the description of this video. It'll take you about 90 seconds to enroll. And tomorrow, you can be with us on Tuesday Night Coach Training, or immediately begin your training and certification. Well, that is it for this week. I appreciate you guys all immensely. We're going to put this on replay. Thank you so much for spending your evening with me, and have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.